person will still get that average bill based on the methodology. So that person will be underestimated, and then other people will be affected. Now we've identified that as a problem, and what we do is that we've made our lines, our emails, addresses available for customers who feel, you know what, there's something wrong with this estimate. They can contest it and complain, and we have teams in place to resolve the issue. But more importantly, is it's important to also state that the discos do not want to um, continue to have this estimated issue because it affects our revenue at the end of the day.
Please, how? I'd like to know. You know why?
Okay, you know why?
I'm very passionate about this.
I am also a consumer, remember?
Oh, okay.
I'm a consumer even though I work in the disco.
But levels are different.
No. What I'm trying to say is a happy customer is a paying customer. I don't know. We're in a business to make money.
Yes.
I want my customer to be happy so they can pay their bills. So it's not in my interest. First of all, I'm not even getting to bill 100% of the energy. I'm billing on average about 85% of the energy. So I've already lost 15%. If you're not happy with your bill, you're not going to pay me. The time it takes for me to want to recover, to manage you, is costing me money. So it's in my interest for the estimate to be as accurate, or more importantly, to meter you. As the reason we have taken this metering asset provider scheme seriously. I mean, if you look on all the different social medias, we are driving it and pushing it and ensuring that we can try and meter as many customers as possible within the shortest possible time. And then before you ask me, the metering on the wall hasn't been as fantastic because of different issues. Our maps have had to order these meters. These meters are, didn't come in on time. They've started coming in. You will see a ramp up. But we want to meter our customers so that customer believes in the bill that they get so they can make payment. It's important to know that the discos do not have any benefit in estimating them. The trouble you have with recovering the money from customers that are estimated is much more than the customer that is metered.
Sorry, Auntie. Hi. Please.
I'm serious.
I hope you will say this louder so that people in the back will hear.
Okay.
Especially the counterparts in this part of Lagos.
Okay.
Ikeja EDC.
Yes.
Not to report them because it just seems like I'm staging them against you. But the thing is, if you say I do not necessarily believe that distribution companies have a problem or they incur costs by running around and chasing people to pay, because where I live, they do not have an issue once they see that your house has been flagged down for not meeting up with bill or you haven't paid the bill. They cut your lights. It's as simple as that. You get back home and you see that your light has been cut.
And not many people with access will go and be connecting wires.
So how do you tell such a man as me that his light has been cut because he was given 50,000 naira estimated bill on one house, one apartment? And I have, before I complain, even when I complain, I call the manager or whoever, they have cut my lights. Okay. The best thing that will happen is they say, "Okay, come and pay your connection fee after paying that bill and showing us the receipt." So who do I complain to? How do I get addressed?
Okay, let me say something before Folake goes on. Yes, so they give you a bill of 50,000 and they cut your light.
Mind you, I do not have a factory in my house. Let me just put that out there. I don't have a factory.
Well, okay.
1 month.
1 month.
Okay.
Just to clarify.
Okay. Maybe that's on the high side. But like I told you,
maybe.
Maybe. But like I told you earlier, there is a system to the madness. And once you get that system right, you would be able to ensure that the way you estimate your bills for your customers are to a large extent okay. However, the cost of you not paying, there's cost of funding for these people. There's cost for infrastructure development. So even the reconnection fee, chasing you, getting the people to be on the field rather than them doing maintenance and all, there's cost to it because you don't pay, that man's salary is going to get paid. I'm not justifying that the 50,000 is right because like Folake has said now, there's a methodology that you can use that can make it to a large extent better. However, my point to a lot of customers is this. A lot of customers complain without bringing out the people who are stealing this energy. So when you have those kind of things and you have an idea that people are stealing energy, then bring it to the attentions of the discos. That way you find out that at the end of the day, they would come and do a proper technical assessment, and your bills should technically or should primarily go down. And I hear you, if you leave home at 6 o'clock, and I say the same thing, if you leave home at 6 o'clock in the morning and then you come back at 11 p.m.
Yes.
And then at the end of the month,
You know that's how my life is,
yes,
right?
yes.
So how do you explain that?
And I understand that. Are you with me? So you feel very slighted. However, complain, and the complaints must get to everybody, not just the discos. If you need to complain to the regulators, bring it up. But the discos must also ensure that they do their technical assessments when people complain about these things, and that is key. So customers should ensure. We all come out and say, "Oh, the bills are too high," but you're not telling the discos
So each disco
who is stealing.
should have a response team or a customer service
Yes.
team that responds to unfair estimated billing.
Yes.
So each one of them should have. Now, we have to go on a break, but I'd like to say that it's important for us to understand, and I'm really glad we have you here, Folake, because we hear from your side. It's easy for us to, of course, we have a lot of comments. It's easy for people to come and be really angry, because people are angry from power. It's not from you, it's from NEPA, PATN, so it's accumulated anger. But we're going to really, and I love the fact that we're breaking it down this morning. So please keep bringing your questions on, and I'm sure Folake and Wadi are able to answer. Go on a break.
Lagos Talk Special. Stay with us.
It's amazing.
To be honest with you, I'm just going to explain that, like this estimated. I use some data for you. Average is 10,000. So when you say somebody, you get a bit of 50,000, you're not metered, right?
My meter broke down.
So your meter
So I
broke.
asked for them for it to be replaced.
What were you getting before your meter? What was your
When you were
So
running
when
your
I
meter,
was
how much?
running my meter, 10K every month.
Okay, so 10K every month. As the availability, as in the energy level, the number of hours you get a day, has it gone up?
Yes.
Because
like
exactly.
Yeah.
So the thing
That's
is,
another
it
thing.
is not fake. So they give me 5,000. I say okay, because cases I've handled myself. Okay, and I'll say you even have a meter, right? I bring out the log that shows. Look, you used to get 6 hours. Now you are getting 12 hours.
Yes.
You can't expect to
But
be getting the
Folake,
same 5,000.
This is me
Okay.
that lives. Yes. This is me. No, oh yeah, I've got it. But this is me that leaves the house. He knows now. 4:30. 4 o'clock. 4:30.
So
I've left,
50,000
and I-
because of estimation. So what happens is that once you don't have a meter, where I told you there's a transformer, I take out and I know the energy. That's for Ikeja. I know the
I
energy
see.
on that transformer. I take out all those metered customers. There's energy left. It's two things. That energy was consumed anyway. Now the disco has to go in there to ensure that everybody that is taking the remaining energy is there. This is what you're talking about. So you do a technical audit, find out who is not connected. We also are telling our customers, if you know this person is taking part of that transformer energy,
Yes.
but is not even connected, report, because you are paying for that
him.
person.
Sure.
But it's not just your responsibility, it's joint. But we're saying it's joint because if you tell us, we will bring the person on and then your bill goes down. But the truth is that billing and metering is the way forward.
Yes.
But metering can happen overnight.
It can't. It's true. Because
And
if you apply now, like they'll tell you in a month's time.
Another thing is that we're paying for so before we had the discos, a lot of bad habits we used to have, that like how you connect your wire to somebody's meter down there, and we don't know that actually someone else bears the responsibility for this. We just think we're being smart and outsmarting NEPA or PATN. However, you're outsmarting yourselves, because like you mentioned, someone has to pay for the bill, and it won't be the company. So there's some bad habits that we have. It's just like slavery, how Black Americans are still suffering for it years after. Some habits that were gotten from there, we're still trying to undo or unlearn
Plus
certain things.
PTSD from NEPA.
Yes, that's the word, PTSD. So I think even with, and maybe again in terms of education and awareness for a lot of people, that's why I think this is so important, that we're able to engage real customers and they can be educated. A lot of times, like even from some of the comments we've seen, it's born from ignorance.
Towards the end of the show, I will share my personal experience so that people would understand.
Okay.
I told her yesterday. I told you now, Valentine.
Yes.
I pay 75 naira in my estate.
I pay. Oh, how much? Oh, yeah, your Ocean
South
Point,
Point.
South Point. I think ours is the lowest than that.
I have
actually.
24 hours
How much you
night.
pay?
60. I think 60.
Are you getting
65.
24 hours?
Yes, 24 hours.
You're getting as far as like
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's
So you're getting
hybrid.
24 hours and you're paying how much?
That's
69.
65 naira per
65
unit.
naira.
Yeah,
Oh.
totally. So I know that it's for you to get, but I know that they're making profit off it because, and also the fact it will be cheaper on the power grids because we pay for generator. So
Okay.
when they switch to generator and fuel, and that's probably why 44 naira is realistic. I can understand that because they also sort of add the amount of fuel they will buy. So of course that's
Yeah,
a
yeah,
lot
yeah.
higher
That's why it is
than,
like that.
No,
I'm
but-
even looking at bar. You're paying
But
10K,
if it's
you're
a mix,
enjoying, no?
if it's a mix, so what do I mean? So if it's a mixture of the
Grid.
disco grid, what
And-
I would do if I'm that alternative source is I'll go and sit down with a co.
That's what they've done.
So
Yeah,
if
so
a
that's
co
what-
gives you
they're
18
making-
hours,
so
they're
that's-
making money.
That's what
They
they're
give them
doing
18
now.
hours.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing now. I told
Exactly.
you yesterday now.
So that's the point.
Yeah.
If we
Because at
if
15
we
naira, they will make so
strengthen
much
the
money.
TCN, the transmission network, strengthen the discos. Excuse me, what can an independent power company do that a generator
Yes,
cannot do? We
cannot
have
do,
big
yes,
generators.
yes,
We
yes.
can do it.
So whose responsibility is it to strengthen the
No,
TCN?
so it is
It's-
like
it's
it's
everybody's
everybody.
Oh.
So guess what? If you are not paying, if you didn't pay 65 naira, they can't
They
give you
can't,
that
yeah,
service.
yeah. That's how I know it's
Lagos
possible to have
State did an
24 hours.
analysis
You know, many
for
estates
24 hours
outside that
light.
has 24 hours.
You remember you guys were discussing Lagos State?
in
24
that,
hours.
The
yeah,
cost
24
came to
hours, yeah,
65
most of us
naira.
are 20.
That one, me, I
And
know.
we are the cheapest. We pay the cheapest at
65.
55 naira.
I pay 75
He
naira
pays
on that
75,
axis.
okay, let's go back. Glad to know you're listening. This is Lagos Talk Special. It's a part of Smooth Breakfast with Valentine.
And Ayo Mairo Ese.
Today we have a power special and we have special guests in the studio. We have Folake Shoretan, a business executive and chief operating officer at Ikeja Electric, here to demystify some of the issues, some of the complaints, some of the concerns that Lagosians and people residing around the coverage space or coverage area, where they're operating, have regarding power, especially even extending beyond their purview or the area where they cover their services cover to other areas, so we can at least have an idea some of the issues and how to address them.
All right, we have some comments and questions on WhatsApp. 0809-444-0981 is the number to send in your comments. The phone line 0144899981. We have this one. There was a suggestion made by someone earlier, and I'll get to that. But Jide is asking, Ikeja Electric should do something about the employees allowing tenants owe huge bills and trying to pass the bills to house owners when the tenants move. Ikeja Electric is a private company, so I'm sure you're referring to other discos as well, and they were responsible for collection of the debt owned by tenants. So again, that's a fair point. Passing on the buck to tenants from house owners who should actually take the responsibility. Then Abayami has an interesting suggestion. He says, I think it's high time we decentralize our current 11 discos into 774 mini discos. We currently have 774 local governments in Nigeria. Each mini local area disco will manage the power distribution within the community. They buy power from Agenco and supply their immediate community. This will run in partnership with each local government and investors. Investors will set up a distribution facility while the local government will oversee the operations. Investors can choose to invest in more than one local area distribution company. LGs as local governments can also partner with metering companies to ensure each building has prepaid meter. It's easier to manage our power crisis one local government at a time. This holistic method is untenable. What do you have to say about this interesting suggestion as to localizing power distribution instead of making it so broad?
Okay. Fantastic suggestion. Currently, like you say you have 11 discos, but we should also understand how these things operate. They have various injection stations or substations that provide the energy within localities. So what he's currently saying is technically available, and it makes sense if you can create all those things into mini business centers, whether you're running it as a group of companies. So my suggestions to all the discos will be, how do you ensure that you maximize the effect of your injection substation that provides energy for one area and turn it into a profit center rather than a cost center? I tell people that the power service is like banking. Everything, anywhere to make money in banking comes from your customer. It doesn't drop from heaven, and it's the same way with the power service. Once we get that mentality right, that the customer drives your profitability, and you start to understand whether it's the types of customers, the nature of who lives where and who doesn't live where. So I give a typical example. Valentine, you work from Monday, you work 30 days in a month and they pay you a salary. So at the end of the month, they pay you a salary of 100,000 on the 30th. No, whatever.
I know. I just answered like in Nigeria. Yeah, go on.
They pay you 100,000. Are you with me?
Yes.
And then you get your electricity bill on the 15th of the next month. For the first 12 days, you didn't have light and you've been running your generator. Are you going to pay?
I wouldn't, but I'll be forced to.
Well, you have the option. I continue to run on my generator since you don't give me light. So it's an issue of cost. Now, once you understand that, you have to understand the matrices of the kinds of customers that you have. When should you get a bill? Valentine should get his bill on the 28th, so that when he gets his salary, he can calculate inside it and say, okay, I'm paying my KGC bill. So a lot of all these things can be done, but it takes time because of where we're coming from. And a number of the discos are doing them. Have they reached there? No. So fantastic suggestion by him.
All right. Quick question though, Folake. Is there what are the moves you're making or you've been making to sensitize the populace or your customers, so get them to understand all these things that we've been talking about on this radio show? Because imagine the millions that are listening right now and probably heave a sigh of relief, getting answers to some of the questions that's been bothering them. But imagine the other millions who don't have a chance to listen. But how do you reach them? Do you have any sensitization programs, information, whatever, the plan?
Okay, so this is not the first radio program we've attended. We have different radio channels that we must know the importance of escalating or reporting customers that are stealing our energy if we're not aware, because it impacts them as well. We have a whistleblowing platform as well for customers to report if anything of such nature is happening. So it's not a new thing, and we can do better, and we continue to strive to improve how we create awareness. I wanted to also add to what Wadi said about the suggestion of power distribution and localizing it. The truth is that it's discos are the ones that have the license to distribute by law. However, and our job is to distribute, to ensure you can account for that energy and then build that energy and collect the money. What we can do, or what we're looking at doing, even with the commission, that's NERC now, is franchising. And that is already on the table. That is already something Ikeja is considering, something that the commission is considering, whereby you can have people who begin to manage certain areas. Start with, understand this area, collect money from this area. So we're giving you this distribution transformer example to manage. And then when you do that and we perfect it and you build the capacity, you can now begin to extend it to the suggestion. But that's a very good suggestion.
Brilliant.
I agree with that.
Thank you.
Just because we read out this question, just very quickly, with regards to owners and tenants, when tenants move out and then the buck is passed to the owners to pay
Okay,
for the...
so that is a major issue, and we are working with the commission to come up with a way of trying to address that. Because the reality is that you build a house, and who is responsible for that house? Yes, the tenant lives there, but then if the tenant moves out, that house has been built, and the energy from that house has to be collected. But like I said, it's a major issue. We're working with the commission to come up with a plan on how to resolve same.
But at the moment, as a homeowner, you take responsibility. Thank you.
All right, we'll have messages to run through before we wrap the conversation up. It's been very interesting. Achieving sustainable power distribution in Nigeria has been the focus of this Lagos Talk special. MJ says, I put it to the team that the disco team, that the supervisors and the people who are to report issues to make money from trying to contest an estimated bill, or they just frustrate you to give up and pay. He says BVN and NIN is a starting point for resolving tenant-landlord issue.
Emma Sakwan has a good story to tell. He says, on meters and power leakage, how do you explain that the street light on the pole was consuming power from my meter? Meter is hoisted on the same pole. How did I use? kudos to Ikeja Distribution. They listened to my complaint and corrected it. This means the technical team also lose power. So just an example of whistleblowing or reporting a case of over billing.
Yes.
It's good to hear that.
Yes, and Samuel Owoturu actually still gives you some commendation. It says the mindset of these ones in the studio on the radio are very different from that of those that come to our houses. You have a meter, you have paid. They get angry and try to frustrate you. Feedback. And Cruz says, our expectation would be that if an area has an energy supply costing say 1,000 naira each for each house or shop or facility, having been metered, would be charged to get 1,000 naira plus X, where X is your cost of doing business plus and profit. I wish I could do a proper breakdown with basic energy consumption in kilowatt amp and the attendance and cost implication. But this show is time bound, right? So we should have a town hall meeting where people can contribute on a technical level and with an understanding that you're running a business, not on an emotional level. And I think a lot of people are emotionally abused from the past, and guess
Yeah, Somi has been emotionally abused. Because you people here in the studio, so Wade and Folake, you have a different mindset. That the people that come to his house, they are angry and they try to frustrate you. So if only the attendants were as calm and cool and explain things so logically when they come to our houses, it would be great. So perhaps training for officials who come to collect money, the tax collectors, all those who come to
then
judge.
again, in their defense, I feel that sometimes they feel threatened. They feel like if they go to your house, you probably will unleash the dogs on them or things.
No, but seriously, I mean, your feedback is taken, and we are doing a lot, honestly, to ensure that our front-facing staff, either at the business center or the undertaking, or the linesman that goes to the house to either fix the technical fault or disconnect a house if it needs to be disconnected, or the energy sales rep that is distributing bills. That has been a major focus for us. It's important to state that one of our major objectives in Ikeja Electric this year is customer experience. And I keep saying that, customer experience. If my customer is happy, my customer is willing to pay. And ultimately, if we're all consumers, all the customer wants is power. And all we're focused on at Ikeja Electric is to try and work even within the things that we're constrained, are constrained, to try and improve the service. So even if we can't give you 24 hours, if it's 8 hours I'm giving you, if there's a fault, we'll ensure we send a message to you. If you have a problem, we have, lines or contact centers where you can call. It's not perfect, but we're doing that to ensure that the customer experience is better.
Thank you very much, Folake. Final words, 30 seconds.
Yes. One last thing I'd like to tell everybody is this: you need to learn how to manage power. My personal experience showed me that you need to learn how to manage power. Some people would turn on their ACs. If you turn on your AC from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m., you would consume a minimum of 20 units of energy, a 1.5 horsepower of AC.
Wow.
We don't calculate these things.
But
so
we need to get
so we need to get all those things. So they can contact me after the show.
Well,
thank you very much.
Thank you, Folake Shoretan, Business Executive, Chief Operating Officer at Ikeja Electric, and Wade, Chartered Accountant and author of Capri Fort, Corporate Governance and Risk Management and Compliance. And special thanks to you for your messages and for being part of the show.
Absolutely. Hope you join us again tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. to 10 o'clock, Thursday. And of course, Jeannie will be taking over from us with Strictly Soul. Nice, soulful music for you as you continue your lovely Wednesday morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you
Now
very much.
Ayo opened her mouth.